Hello everybody, it is I, your favorite VTuber Android Arrowhead, and I'm back with more Ace Attorney, Apollo Justice, I don't know, I forgot the name for the sec. Trial, or case number 3, and we're determining how the guy who didn't speak English but then could and also isn't blind, smuggled a moth egg cocoon into the country. I think audio probably works. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we're continuing stuff. I don't know how I botched the intro that much. Anyway, July 10th to 1:40 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Lemira's performance? The reason why she was in that air vent. And that switch in the flaming guitar. You link it all together, that's what you end up with. I knew you had what it took. Oh, it's Phoenix. I knew you had what it took. Ah, Daddy! Mr. Wright! You believed in me? Not really. Huh? Hey, Llama, welcome to the stream. How you doing? I just thought that'd make a cooler entrance than say, hiya. Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Latouche, only shorter and not as well dressed, and also not dead, so there's that. Oh no! What if you're shot too, Daddy? Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. It's the way one of his eyes is like only half open and the other one's open, and it's just like... There are no thoughts going through that head right now. Or there's a lot. Really, it's Phoenix. It's very hard to tell. Right, so fucking cooked. I can't hear Dad in the image of Phoenix appearing without goofy connections popping up. Yeah, I knew someone was gonna say that. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Machitobe off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darian Crescend. It won't be easy proving he did it. Okay, so he probably is the culprit? Especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption. Namely, that our Diva Divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch? A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder. There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. Flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But... The sultry songstress is lying. Your case melts like butter in a frying pan. Hidden behind the faintly singed scent of failure. That's a very Godot kind of line. It's kind of funny. I think the most daddy character would be Edgeworth. Yeah, but unfortunately he's not in this one. I don't think he's in another one until the 6th game, but I'm not entirely sure. There's also the spin-offs where he's the main character, but yeah. Unfortunately, there's a distinct lack of daddies in this. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. I'm gonna have to pole dance. Precisely. Shark MF is 1000% the culprit. Yeah, pretty much. I thought it might not have been because they revealed it kind of early that, like, oh, he's probably the culprit, but yeah, you know, Phoenix is spitting facts, I agree. He's making a pretty good point there, that we're missing a fair bit of evidence. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Ah, here it is. What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material. Only if you're the Iron Giant. They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Considering nobody does their job, I'm pretty sure you could give a verdict yourself and they'd roll with it. That's actually an amazing point. I should stroll into court and be like, the defendant is not guilty. And they're like, well, I guess that's how this works. It's like that thing from Futurama, where, Fry was on a planet of robots that hated humans, and they were very fearful of them. So at one point he told some robots, like, stay back or I'll breathe fire. And then they were like, okay, can he actually do that, or did we make up the fact that he could do that? And they didn't know. That's basically just how this works. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Maybe that was a gunshot and we heard the wrong one. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo! That's where we found that little device thingy! Right, this. Well, finally some evidence that makes sense. Burnt fragments added to the court record. That's all from me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Dorian Crescen's igniter and set it off. And like that, he evaporated. And he walked out the door, just like a magician. Normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean? We're gonna have to harass him. We're gonna have to swat Dorian Crescent. Next time he's Twitch streaming, we'll swat him. I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. Kinda wish more characters were true to their word. Like, I want a character to get so angry they actually shit fully finished bricks, not just saying it. You know what? That would actually be amazing for, like, a construction-themed Ace Attorney character. Like, Bill Ding or something like that, just call him that. Or Connor Struction. I guess. We're almost at the end. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. July 10th, 1:55 p.m. District Court Department Number 3. Court is now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is Detective Crescent? In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darian was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3. But his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. It's a character witness, kinda. I think. Not sure how that works. Correct? Oh, I know. Air forehead. Very well, call the final witness to the stand. Detective Dorian Crescent. Name and occupation, please. Dorian Crescent, Detective, Criminal Affairs, Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division for those of you who didn't know. I didn't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Gaviners. Maybe you've heard of us? Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today? Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darian. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends. Honestly, I think defending a person you're very biased towards isn't going to hold up in court. Because you couldn't tell whether they're bullshitting to save their friend. That's true, but to be fair, Clavier over here is the prosecution. So unless he actually brings up legitimate evidence that proves his friend couldn't have done it, he kinda can't do anything, and it is more or less his job to make sure they find the actual criminal. And I think regardless of whether or not they're friends, that would probably weigh on him a bit if he knew he let someone off who he knows did it. I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial? Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lemira's testimony, if in fact you have anything to say about it. Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Borginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Ha! I'm from Japanifornia, just so you know. Conventional methods are out of the window, huh? Here goes nothing. In terms of legal situations, having as many neutral parties as possible is pretty important. No, I agree. That's actually extremely important. However, for the sake of this game, that's basically impossible. Oh boy. Darian's rebuttal. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots? As if. Didn't Detective Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man! So you claim Lemira's testimony was a lie. Hey, don't get me wrong. I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid. And she's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just because she's blind. So is justice. You go too far, Darian. Look, all I'm saying is you got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective? Detective Sky? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. You didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this with Lemira's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. First things first, I should probably examine the, whatchamacallit, these. So, you think this was some kind of firecracker? Yeah, or one of those noisemakers, like you shoot off there on New Year's. Did you know that in China they use firecrackers on New Year's to scare off evil? So it's kind of the same thing. Really? I had no idea. Well, did you know this? It takes more than 500 peanuts to make one 12-ounce jar of peanut butter. Huh. Looks like I gotta eat 500 peanuts then. Isn't California Japan's love child just misogyny central? Could be. Then again, they do have female lawyers all over the place here, so hey, you know. Well, we saw one female lawyer, but still. You know, they got something. Women have jobs here. At least my useless fact has something to do with the evidence. Anything else on this that would be eye-opening? Doesn't seem like it. Alright. Nothing I can really say to this. Never heard my voice. You can't prove that, but I also can't prove that she did. Heard gunshots. That is true if she heard the actual gunshots. Let's press him on this. We know she missed the words. The mixing board proved it. Oh yeah, there was a mistake. But blaming it on gunshots is just a lame excuse. What do you mean? The mixing board proves what? Proves there was a mistake in the song. A missed cue. So, she just flubbed it up big time. That's all. She spins this story about a gunshot to protect the kid and cover for her own goof. Man, I'd have to hand it to her. She wasn't sticking it to me at the same time. Darian, what's what you say? Lemira is an artist. She just flubbed it up? That's no small accusation for a performer of her caliber. Huh. She got to you, alright. I can see it in your eyes. I tell you, most of her stuff is so pretentious. I tell you, most of her stuff is so pretentious it's way over my head. I'm detecting a rift in the Gaviner's ranks. Anyway, she's too close to the defendant. Her testimony can't be trusted. I like how the entire reason Apollo's argument doesn't hold up is the fact the witness was visually impaired. Otherwise, all the evidence is very pointing at him. That is true. There was also the fact that the, specifically his guitar in the third set sounded weird. They pointed that out pretty quickly after the crime happened. So that kind of proves something was up with him, and maybe he had someone else on stage during his thing, or he had to do something that distracted him. You ask me, I'd go with Detective Sky's story at the drop of a pick. Not attacking real air of someone on trial for murder. Exactly. Maybe that's meant to try to, like, intimidate people or make them think, like, oh, well, he's so sure of himself, maybe he's not lying. When we're pretty sure he is. We don't know for sure exactly, but, like, it's probably him. Unless there's someone else who could have done it in the last, like the last hour of the thing. Didn't Detective Sky hear those gunshots? Let's press him on this. Actually, I was there too. So I hear. Which means you heard them too, right? The gunshots? Yes. We heard gunshots, quotation marks. Neither I nor Emma actually saw the shooting, mind you. Huh. I guess you and Lemire got the same excuse then. We know one thing for certain here. There were gunshot-like sounds that emanated from that room during the third set. What we must determine is whether those sounds were actually gunshots. Machi heard them too. Remember he said he ran for the air duct when he heard them? Also, Darian knows Miura's talent and how she hardly, if ever, made a mistake. And plus, she didn't fuck it up. The stage double hadn't messed it up. Exactly. The whole thing was... Well, actually, she did technically mess up the song. She admitted to that herself. But that was only because she heard the gunshots that startled her, which, to be fair, if I was doing a concert and I heard gunshots, I'd probably be like, wait, what the fuck's happening? So, you know, it's fair. How do we figure out just what those gunshots during the third set were? I got a decent idea. Huh. That could have been what the shooter wanted us to think. I'll tell you what the shooter, that kid, wants you to think. He wants you to think that Diva heard me in that room. I'm back to relying on Lemire's testimony. As much as I'm enjoying the Darian and Forehead shows, there is no need for such tempers. Don't make us into some comedy duo. This means the Gavin and Darian show is cancelled? Neither of your claims can be proven. Or disproved. We could argue for days like this and get nowhere. Prosecutor Gavin is quite right. This court will hear no further discussion on this topic without new facts. New facts, huh? He's pretty eager to paint Lemire as a liar, isn't he? Yeah, because her testimony is basically our entire case. This is tough. So what do we do? I've got a few ideas. I just need to find another way to prove it didn't happen when he says it did. So basically the fireworks. Essentially that's the key here. But where do I play the fireworks? Dude, if I was trying to keep my composure to sing while crossing the time events and I heard gunshots that aren't part of the show, I'd start it too. Exactly, yeah. You can't really blame her for messing that up. You don't have any proof she was lying. Oh yeah, kid? You saying I lied? You have precisely the same amount of proof as she does. So, like... You know... No, I'm just saying, Apollo, glare back at him! Couldn't help it! I flinched by reflex! Detective Crescend. Yeah, what do you want? Nothing. Apollo, chin up, back straight, you're wilting! Why would Darian be on set if he wasn't ever part of the show? First, second set. Okay, so here's how I understand it. The first set was him and the rest of the Gaviners playing on stage. That was the first set. The second set was the one where we saw with Gavin and Lemire playing together. So Clavier and Lemire were playing together. But Darian was not necessarily on stage, I don't think. At the very least, he wasn't in that one video we saw. The third set is where the Gaviners went all back on stage. And he wants us to think that the murders happened during the third set, so that way it could prove, okay, he wasn't there, and he was on stage, whereas what actually seemed to happen was it happened during the second set when he was off stage, which means he absolutely could have done it. I think, is what they're going for here. This guy's hard as nails! He makes Walkie look downright cooperative! Look, there's no way the diva remembers my voice. Apollo, man up, come on, stand up for yourself. 10 toes down. 11 if you can manage it. Let's go with the press. You never talked to her even though you were playing in the same concert? Not a word, as far as I can recall. But weren't there planning sessions or something? Gavin took care of all that himself. Darian wasn't involved in any of the meetings with her. As if you can just go around remembering everyone's voice like that anyway. Apollo's been such a pussy after the first trial. Yeah, he's got a bit of growing to do. Even if you go back to the first game, Phoenix also had a few moments where he was a little... He could have used a little more, like, backbone, but at the same time, it's, you know, he's new to this. Apollo will probably be a little more spineful in the rest of the games, I assume. Only an idiot would believe that. Amira's hearing is very sensitive. She could remember him if she heard him, I'm sure of it. Just can't prove it. And I need proof. Proof that she would have heard him. But where? Let's see. Maybe this, but that feels a little not likely. Victim shot in the shoulder in Lemura's room. Death due to loss of a blood from a gunshot wound. Actually, wait, wouldn't she have heard him from, like... Actually, I was gonna say, maybe if she heard him on an album, but maybe he doesn't, like, talk or sing. Apollo needs a new nervous system. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's see. What could prove that... During the third set... Oh, what am I missing here? Can I prove that she forgot because of the gunshots? Maybe not, but at the same time, I probably can prove that there were other things happening during the thing. Probably from this. Alright, Hail Mary. Oh, there we go. Alright. Some things were found at the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? Oh, you know, stuff. I'm finding you in contempt of court. The first was this small device. That's the remote trigger igniter. Correct. And one more thing. What are those? The remains of something burnt? Not another guitar, I hope. Traces of gunpowder were found on these fragments. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker. Huh? How did Gavin know about this? What? You think Detective Sky works for you? I received the report this morning before coming here. I received the report approximately 24 minutes ago. Or whatever the quote was from Watchmen. That's when I made my decision, actually. What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin? I kind of wish we had a joke trial where someone admitted to the kill that was actually the culprit, only the trial take 30 to 45 minutes. They're like, no, it can't be them. They weren't there. They're like, no, yeah, I had a body double. I committed the murder. No, that's too easy. Too easy. Bitch, I did it. I agree. That would actually be very funny. They're like, nah, it's too easy. It's not too easy. It was hard for me. There was actually a College Humor bit where, They were making a murder documentary, like, you know those true crime documentaries, but they're making one about like a guy who was like, he said like, oh, I'm the murderer and all that stuff. But they were more focused on making the documentary about them and like what they thought about stuff as opposed to the actual murderer. And the guy was like, no, look, I killed the guy. This is about me. This is my story. And then they're like, I think this documentary is really about me. And it's like everyone's just trying to get like a piece of the pie, you know? I registered Darian as a witness in today's trial. If anything, it's him trying to prove himself guilty because no one would actually believe the culprit would admit it. That's another funny thing, yeah. That's another thing. There was a trial in the second Ace Attorney game that was surprising because the guy who is your defendant actually is essentially guilty for the crime, but he's also not literally the guy that did it. So yeah, sure, he's not literally the guy that did it, but like, you have to defend someone you know is at least kinda guilty. Just in case. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been 2 firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. Ah, ha, ha, ha! You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient to me. How so? So you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off? No, he orchestrated it! Jimmy! He defecated through a sunroof! Right when the 2 witnesses came walking by. Ah! That's right! Darian was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would he know someone was backstage right then? If a firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear... You get my drift? Why go through the trouble, man? How do I explain this? You may not look it, but Darian is a gifted detective. Show any weakness, and he's sure to find it. It sounds like what actual documentaries do, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of them kind of make the issue about themselves. You may not look it, partner. Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself. And I saw something odd there just before the third set. Was it the earpiece on the ground? Something odd? A headset, yep. The kinds that all of the band and staff members were wearing. That's right! We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room. What if that headset wasn't dropped, but placed? And what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on in that hallway. Even if you were out on stage. Oh, I thought someone else might have just dropped it there. As like part of his thing, like they lit the thing and then left. That makes more sense. Ugh. Fire Emblem Heroes. Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Darian. There are no sides in a court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, Airforehead. I have a question for you. For me? The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fake the sound of gunshots. Throw the headset from the hallway into the mix and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake. We can't say. You've raised the possibilities that the shots heard during the third set were faked. Now you need to prove the other half of the case. The other half? Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act, while our little piano player was on stage. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that, then to continue this cross-examination would be pointless. Well, Mr. Justice? Can you prove the crime took place during the second set? Yeah, I think. Brother, what other gunshots were there? What are you on? Okay, so... I think he's trying to say, like, if we heard gunshots during the third act, if they were gunshots, as opposed to the firecracker thing that was, also detonated, probably in the third act. Basically, alright, so there were two sets of quote-unquote gunshots. One was during the second act, one was during the third. We think that the fragments here are a firecracker that went off during the third act to make it seem like Darian was on stage when the murder happened, which would make him unable to be the murderer. He died after the performance, the fuck? Yeah, but we think he might have been shot during the second act. So we'll see. The point is, Darian would have been on stage during the third act, so he made it seem like it would have, like, he couldn't have been there to kill the guy. But what actually probably happened was he was shot during the second act and just died a little after the second act, I should say. After the actually during the third, I guess. You better know, Apollo. Otherwise, we're through. It can be proven. You make it sound like someone else is going to come along and do it for you. Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness, your testimony, if you would. This isn't going to be easy. I need some decisive proof, and fast! Ugh. You ready, kid? 'Cause I am. Shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see your proof. If I'm sure. Huh. Kinda wish there was a parody of these drama YouTubers. Oh, yeah. There was actually a thing where, actually, I'm not gonna say that. In case I wind up making the video, I might not do that, but I was planning something kinda like what you're talking about. Anyway, let's see. Do I have proof that it happened during the second set? Let's press him on this. But the gunshots heard during the third set could have been... What? Some kind of setup? I heard that one before. We need proof, Apollo. We need to prove that the shooting took place during the second set. Well, if you know how to do that, I'm all ears. Maybe the gunshots are the key after all. What do you mean? Well, Lemira said she heard... Oh, we're gonna replicate the fireworks, right? Aren't we? Right in the middle of her illusion when she was up above the ceiling. And she forgot the words to the song, yeah. If you can prove the gun was shot right when she missed those lyrics, we're home free, I think. True. Not easy, but true. There's some way to prove that? Let's take a look through our evidence. Maybe there's something in there. Hey, aren't you supposed to be cross-examining me? Try to refrain from private discussions during cross-examination, Mr. Justice. Right, Your Honor. Now you have me curious. How dare you leave me dispense of your content? I think it'll be fairly funny when it comes out, but it's like... If I do make it, it will be a very specific, like... I don't know. It's gonna take a little bit, mainly because I haven't, like, fully made it yet, but, like, I think it'll be funny when it comes out. Just let me take a quick look through the court record. He's pretty eager to paint Lemira as a liar, isn't he? Yeah, because her testimony is basically our entire case. This is tough. So what do we do? Got a few ideas. I just need to find another way to prove it didn't happen when he says it did. Okay, what can I do to prove that that wasn't then? Where to examine the gun? I don't think this is going to change anything. It's not like this has a bullet in it. Maybe this? But then that's only for the third set. Death due to blood loss. time of death, but the time of death isn't when he got shot. Did I examine this? I guess I did. Huh. Let's see, does this show anything? Because there are multiple of these. Nope, it's just a motherboard. Alright. Let's see. I don't think this really proves much. Nor does this. I mean, outside of the fireworks, I can't prove that it was this. I also can't, like, provide people for this, so... During the second set. Alright, I have an idea, but it's not a good one. Here's my thought. If I say Lemira right here, what if she can hear the gunshot and the fireworks and tell us which she heard? Objection! Nope. That's not it. Okay, yeah, that was a dumb idea. Alright, cool. During the second set. Not a good one. So all of your ideas? Pretty much, yeah. Hey, all of my ideas are bad until they work. And then they're still bad, but they worked. Let's see. What could prove that it was during the second set? Maybe this? But I don't really know how this proves anything, really. This was burned during the second set. Hold on, let's see. Maybe there's something in the tape that I can prove. Unintentional until I got it right. Pretty much, yeah. Alright, the shooting would have happened... let's see. Sometime a little after this. But then why did this guitar light on fire is the other question. Sometime around now-ish. This doesn't actually prove anything, but... No, alright, I saw the rest of that. During the second set. Hold on. Maybe one of these picked it up. Hold on, let's listen to one of these at a time. Maybe one of these picked up the gunshot. Maybe that's what I need. And granted, if this is the case, I probably could just play this for the record. And have that be the thing, but I do like how the rule of third time's charm is applicable to a lot of foods. This is instant ramen. Yeah, it does take a little bit to, like, Goldilocks the ramen a little. To, like, the right... Like, you know, like, the right temperature? Like, at the right time for it. To make sure it's not, like, soggy, but also not, like... Like, hard. I don't know how to describe it. You really gotta... You gotta Goldilocks that stuff. It takes experience to, like, make that properly. Maybe one of them turned into a gun for a second? Maybe I'm listening to the wrong section anyway. Exactly, especially the bricks of ramen. You have to use observation hockey to calculate that shit. You gotta, like... You gotta peer into the future a little bit. Exactly, like observation hockey. Or, like, you gotta use the Monado. You gotta, like... You gotta witness it, you know? Alright, fuck it. I'm just gonna play this and hope it works. Objection! Oh, shit, that actually was the answer. It seems there was clear proof left behind. Right here in Lemura's song. Her song? What exactly is this, device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps? Come on, we just used this. Don't get me started on gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part. Part? You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lemura's voice included. Oh ho, but what does this prove? According to Lemura's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording at that moment, yeah? We might even hear those gunshots. Exactly. That's why I like the spicy tubs of noodles that you can get. Not the Maruchan cups, but like those tray thingies that'll incinerate you with soba. I've heard those are pretty good. I mostly just eat the bricks. Not because, like, I don't like the cup stuff. Mainly just because I find the bricks to be kind of, like, I guess, easier to set up. Also, I feel like with the cups, like, all the ramen is right there. But if I want, like, more ramen at once, I can just take multiple bricks and, like, fry them up at once. Or I guess boil them, technically, but still. Exactly. Ah, ridiculous. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Diane? We were all watching, we were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance. But Lemura's headset would have picked up what she heard all the same. Try the tray version, that shit is gas. Really? Alright, I'll give that a shot. That sounds good. I could go for some ramen right now. Oh well. Then let's get to analyzing that recording. Right now! Lemura stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. The only part we need to listen to is the Lemura part. I was expecting it to be like an actual gunshot. Alright. The cups burn and melt way too easily. Yeah. This is the track with Lemura's vocals. When it comes to the trays of spicy ramen, remember spice or nothing. It'll give you very precise instructions to actually do good results. Okay, that sounds good. Wait for it. Yeah. That was one gunshot, but still. I did hear something faintly there, yes. Why, it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake. Oh no, his hair is going limp. I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set. Which means Lemire's testimony was true. I have to keep up the accent with, Javier. I feel like I lose it a little too much. Gah. Order! So she was telling the truth about what she heard? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche. One time I set a fire in a relative of mine's microwave because I accidentally set the timer too long for one of those damn cups. Yeah, it's just, they're a little flimsy for the kind of stuff you're trying to have them do, you know? Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire. Detective Crescend, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it. But why did we only hear one gunshot on the recording? Weren't 2 bullets fired from this weapon? Lemire was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot. But then, as she passed over the dressing room, the gun fired again and Mr. Latouche's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescend? Once again I'm reminded of something. Our performance that day. Your performance? Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. You was there too, Forehead. Yep, we proved that Darian was off note, or key, or tempo, or something. I think the cups are also more expensive, fucking annoy me. What's the point of raising the convenience cost if it's absolutely useless? I know, it's just annoying. I guess the idea is like, oh, there are extra things in the cups sometimes, depending on the brand. But like, I don't know, I don't think it's really worth it at that point. Besides, it's ramen. I'm not exactly going there for like... I guess if I was to go to like a shop for ramen, then it would be one thing, but like... I don't know. I don't really go for cost, so usually like the cheaper option is just like, oh well, look, I'm here for salty noodles. I'm here for the heart palpitations of that one guy who makes the salt noodles in this. The convenience is the bowl that it effectively comes in. Basically, yeah, there's that. Well, no, I don't think that the extra cost is worth, like, a shitty cup that burns, you know? It's like there's water in it. How the hell does it catch on fire? What is it with today? Problem after problem, acting. My hog won't start. There are pills for that. My guitar case is busted. My guitar has been burnt to a crisp. And to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? This part is off. Which is that? The second guitar. Ah! It was you, Darian. I thought it strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I also know how you play. You're better than that. Yeah, well, You what? And Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at? I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latouche's .45 caliber hand cannon. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur. Wait! You mean his plane was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? Ha! You're forgetting something! Yes, Detective Crescend? Aldoon, yeah, that's diabetes heart palps are different. That's fair. Look, I'm saying that sounds pretty good. They may make jokes about how salty the noodles are for Aldoon, but I'm not saying it sounds bad, you know? Yes, Detective Crescend? I'm a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training. Plenty of it. I'm no amateur. The standard sidearm issued to police officers is a 38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouche. This suggests there was a struggle between the killer and the victim. So the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean? The thought had occurred to me, yes. Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescend! What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up and ready for action has to say. Hey, you! Attorney! Me? To be fair, if I find out I have to say, I would like to have noodles in my bowl of salt, thank you, then I might be pissed. I mean, yeah, maybe, but like, sometimes you're just in the mood for that, you know? You need something incredibly salty to drown your sorrows in. Like the ocean, but instead of the ocean, it's noodles. Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You had a little noise on the tape that could be anything. And you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a .45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager. And that's the obvious truth. The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. The salt shall be my tears on this artificial bullshit. But what if it's natural noodles? I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescend. Tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it. This is probably the final testimony. Proof of innocence. Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This was that diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? Noodles are organic, but what if they came right off the... I was gonna say right off the tree. That's too stupid even for me. No, yeah, that's fair. They're artificial. A simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Latouche had not been to our country before? According to our records, yes. Not even once. I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. Great, now I need to find a motive. Why would he want to? We're here to find out. No motive, okay. True. How could you know her? That you actually could have known. Because he was part of Interpol. Maybe it hasn't gone as far as I thought. Look, AI at this point, it's artificial certainly, but it's not exactly intelligent. I think we can all agree with that. Huh. How would he have known him? Could have been an accident. So you didn't fraternize with him at all during the concert? Fraternize? Ha! I don't think we exchanged a single word. As if anyone would want to talk to that old Eastern blockhead. That's a little... kind of racist there, a little bit. Now the ladies, that's a different matter altogether. So you see... You sure about that? What? What? Wipe that look off your face before I do it for you. Listen, you try throwing out one of your wild accusations. I'll throw it back at you so hard you'll forget who you're accusing of what. Airforehead, perhaps it's best if you let your evidence do the talking, yeah? Ha 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 ha! Man, what evidence? That's what I want to know. He's just using this motive question as ammunition, huh? Well, I've got ammunition too. Evidence! A racist Interpol officer? Unsurprising. Actually, he's not an Interpol officer, he's just police, but... yeah, that's fair. Racist police officer? I've heard of that. I'm surprised he isn't more rude to Gavin. Yeah, given that he's... basically... well, he's not German, but he's like... he speaks German at the very least. Why would he want to do it? Her manager, sure, but Mr. Latouche was... alright, sorry. An Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lunk as an undercover cop, you dig? And not a very good one, seeing as how we got wasted. Throw it back, I guess you got the ass, take off your shirt. Yeah, exactly. Put that ass in a circle, Apollo. Ha 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 ha. I still don't know what put your ass in a circle means, but whatever. It's cold, dog. Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was. But that's the same for Machi. No motive was proven for him. Oh, we actually kind of did prove a motive for him. Aren't two of them East Europe? I don't think Gavin's actually... I think Gavin's from Japanifornia, whereas Burguinia is like an actual Eastern European country. But we don't have a map, and Burguinia is not a real place. And neither is Japanifornia, for that matter, so... in all honesty, who knows? And by the way, technically I think we're in normal California, but it's basically Japanifornia. Or maybe it's supposed to be Japan. I'm honestly not entirely sure where the game is supposed to take place, but... The ass in a circle effectively means you have such a fat ass when it shakes, wobbles in a circle. Hip motions can be kind of circular. Oh, okay. Huh. I'm learning a lot today. A lot of new things. Come on, he traveled around the world with that old fart. He had plenty of time to come up with a motive of his own. More than I sure did. I mean, think about it. Darian, you're a detective with international affairs? Oh, no, apparently he is part of Interpol. You're right, my apologies. Or something like that. Something Interpol adjacent, I think. Yeah, what of it? Even if this was Mr. Latouche's first trip to this country, you still could have met him prior to the concert. Huh? Or don't you take any international trips in international affairs? That's right! Well, Detective Crescend? That's your game, is it? Guess I'd better confess then. Confess? Judge, I'm in love with you. Your title for this is gonna be amazing. Era learns to twerk properly. I've gotta learn the method to it. Yeah, it's a bit of an embarrassment, but I've never been sent overseas. What? But you're an international... See, me and Blaze got a difference of opinion. We don't like each other much. My condolences there, Forehead, but he's telling the truth. He's never set foot outside the country. I can guarantee it. As it turns out, my division has plenty of work to do locally as well. That's so unfair. How could you know her manager? Alternate Universe Los Angeles. Essentially, yeah, AU of LA, yeah. How could he know him? I would say this. Objection! There we go! Your Honor, take a look at this. What's that? Looks like candy. Don't eat it. It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescend. Ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. Uh-huh. What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found amongst the victim's belongings. A cocoon? Never seen one that color. It is a variety only found in the Republic of Borginia. No affairs. I guess we can sort of apply LA's laws to this. That's a whole other can of worms. Alright, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with a motive for killing Mr. Latouche. Does it? It does. Wait, I mean, I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man. A cocoon. Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, well, silk out of? No, not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. A curative? For what? Apparently, it is most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. So yeah, no wonder this courtroom is effectively a massive clown show. Basically, yeah. There's a whole host of reasons why this place doesn't work. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Borginia. Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world? Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. We looked into the matter at some lengths. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet, if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. Cyanide. A deadly poison, in fact. What? There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out onto the local black market. It caused quite the commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware. Intriguing. All of this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export. One rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others. Interpol? Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescend. You insist on referring to him as a manager. But that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. I am an FBI agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That what you're trying to say? I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder. Oh, so I was gonna sell it on the black market, make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. I mean, totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Why? Perhaps it's time for another testimony. Why? About this smuggling of cocoons business. Ooh. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market? Can't sell them on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in international affairs. I know the deal. Indeed. Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover. You kids think up the craziest things. But no way am I gonna risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted. According to reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky. Very well, you may begin the cross-examination. This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something, and I'm going to find out what. Too dangerous. Hmm. I'm surprised there isn't more cars than people if this game is like in the LA universe. Yeah, who knew LA could throw such a huge wrench into things? Yeah, I don't know, we haven't seen a lot of traffic in this. Maybe that could be the cause of murder at some point. That memo! That's how you knew about the cocoons! Oh, nice one, nice one. I'm running scared now. You had to know about the cocoons to plan this. Just how well known are these cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I've never heard of them. Well, Lemira knew about them, though not their use. My reports indicate that there are ongoing efforts to control information about the cocoons. Most people only know that they are illegal to export, that's all. Then I have nothing to be embarrassed about after all. You could say people like me who know about them are a minority, yeah. But that includes everyone in international affairs, man! And everyone in Interpol too, for that matter. Yeah. Interpol's all hot and bothered, yep. So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Latouche. All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are too hot for the black market. You don't want Interpol sniffing through your wares. Moose came to the conclusion that... Dangerous? Yeah, Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. Or another marketeer might think you're part of a sting and take you out himself. Times have changed. But wouldn't scarcity drive up prices? Yeah, at attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. They'd turn your forehead into Swiss cheese before you could say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair too. Who's on trial here again? Man, you so obviously know nothing about the market. And that's a bad thing? Don't even try to mess with me about this stuff. Which is why you know how to find a loophole in the system. Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off about international affairs. Back off of international affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? What do you think we are, Boy Scouts? That wasn't what I was trying to, Down, Darian. It's as you say. There are no loopholes, at least in the case of these cocoons. International Affairs, Interpol, and Burgundian Customs are all watching. See? We know what we're doing. No, not like some yipping little doggies that lap up every word that Diva says. Why I oughta? Oughta what? Want some of this? Ha 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 ha! Chill, both of you. Let's do this cool, yeah? Grr, screw cool! I want this guy's head in a stick! Replica has to be the key to his motive. Baron really is like a hot-headed shark. Pretty much, yeah. Whoa, whoa, here he comes. Watch out, boys, he'll chew you up. Whoa, whoa, here he comes. He's a man-eater. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Let's see. I mean, this is the easiest thing to say, that the judge's son with incuritis. Maybe this? Fuck. What if I see Apollo and Darian? Seeing Apollo fight would be hella interesting. It's, yeah, it's like an alternate world where lawyers have to fight for your honor in, like, trial by combat. That'd be pretty cool. Huh. I do think this is somehow the answer. But I don't know how to work this in if the other stuff is already... Actually, no, I'm just gonna save right here. Just in case. Fuck. I feel like this is the answer, but I don't know how. Fuck. Alright, so we've done that for the 5th thing, we've done that for the first and second thing. This section honestly has been your major cockblock the entire game. This is probably the biggest one so far. Because what else would prove him wrong? I can see that being why he would want it, but we need something else to prove something else. Replica is the key to his motive. And sell him on the black market, too dangerous. Oh, there it is. Okay. See, I told you. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell it to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? That article, that's about the Chief Justice's... A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon. But so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuritis. Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere. You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning. Ah, why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying... Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You are saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband. Not even to save his own son's life. But even if the deal went through, why did it be an international scandal? That's Detective Crescen's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescend, is this true? First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. It's just much fucking to mention, there's no way he's that forgetful. And if he is, frankly, he should not be a judge. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway? Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let Sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice? Where's your proof? Well, oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Borginian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about Cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. Very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. What about Gavin's guitar? Because he mentioned that he was able to sneak that through. Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country with no checks. Because there was that whole thing earlier where he was like, nobody should have a job, but apparently this is LA, so yeah, honestly this is basically traffic court, essentially, with all the stuff going on. But, yeah, there was a thing earlier where, Gavin mentioned that he was able to get his guitar through customs by having it be through, like, an evidence line, and no one touched it when he got to the office. What is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor? I don't believe it! Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? And that's why he burned the guitar, to hide the evidence. It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lamira. How did it end up here? Alright, I already said all this part. We can just skip through it. Change an air pressure and humidity ruin the wood. Vacuum packed it. Use a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. Right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Borginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that the guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle the cocoon out of Borginia. I guess I should have mentioned, for English we're just in a version of LA with heavy amounts of JP culture. However, in the Japanese version, it's specifically just Japan. That's kind of what I thought. Yeah. Basically just thanks to difference in localization. That makes sense. Ace Attorney does have very good localization, in my opinion. Whoa, what? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin. That guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory, forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It's called the sound hole. I have a sound hole too. We all do. Device, yep. That's where we found the torch thing. An igniter! Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. Ah! There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band. Yoink! Imagine being found out that your friend has used to smuggle a miracle drug that could instantly heal the world, therefore having them arrested and not sentenced to death for it. Yeah. To be fair, the issue wasn't so much that they were, like, smuggling the drug at this point, which, to be fair, is a crime on its own for this. It's the fact that he killed a guy, for the most part. That's the problem here. Order! 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 So the igniter was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. A precaution? Ah, hair forehead. At last, it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lamira's ballad, if you please. First, my keys were stolen. A harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see. This would be easier to understand if we had a manga format to display why things look the way they do. Because wasn't the main issue that if you were deported back to Burgundy for smuggling part of the cure, you were given the death sentence? No, for one thing, blonde guy, it was a blonde dude. But for another thing, that is true that if you were smuggling that out, that would be a problem. Turns out, though, he wasn't the one smuggling it unless he was just an accomplice to Darian, which could have happened, which would also make sense that he lit the igniter, maybe. Or why he was in the room when the murder happened. But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. What's that? Mr. Latouche. Ah! Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated then, the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was get rid of the whole lot. It's over! Press the switch! Now! The guitar burst into flames, and the cocoon was lost. And then... Mr. Latouche died. Considering this is like Eastern Europe, so we can assume something like Germany, then you're pretty much in deep shit. Yeah? Pretty deep shit. Not great stuff. Basically, anything where it's like they could freely give you the death penalty for that, that's pretty bad. Vislamir is there to witness it. There's your case. Brilliant, man! Detective Crescend? I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly? But a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Darian. Fire Emblem Heroes. The Republic of Burgundy? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Huh. Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. Honestly, that makes sense that Latouche would be shot for interfering. Pretty much, yeah. And then he died, which makes this a murder case, which is probably why the real reason why we need to send him to jail. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help, a Burgundian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lemire heard proves it. You made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage. But who was it? This is it, the coup de grace. And for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with a great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice? Stop that. Controller, alright. I think it's him. Because she probably didn't do it, because she was on the stage. He was the one killed. I think it was Machitobae. Unless it was him, which I doubt. There is only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Machitobae. But, Mr. Justice, he's your client. A defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one. It's not that new if you've played the other games. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. And I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lemire? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lemire was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent. Well, looking at this, it seems that Lemire could still have done the deed. No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade, because it was in the air. Yeah, it rose up. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and the Lemire stand-in were there. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lemire's position in the air vent. Ah! Well, Detective Crescend, what do you say to that? I like that look in Apollo's eye. It reminds me of Phoenix. It's actually pretty much the same pose Phoenix had sometimes. And Mia, too. Going off the name of the Republic of Borginia, and it was heavily altered from the original inspiration. You can narrow it down to the IRL equivalent of like Czech Republic, Czech Republic of Moldova, or Slovakia. And Slovakia, yeah. Probably one of those. Definitely like an Eastern European place. Your Honor. Yes, Detective? Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time? Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. Interestingly enough, Machi doesn't have like an actual 3D model in this scene. Too bad, so sad, punk. Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo. They're an officer, they have a way out of everything. That's true. Wow, I guess his body cam footage was turned off for when he was killing that guy. What exactly were we supposed to see in this video? The thing probably lit before he told him to. They're an officer, they have a way... Oh, I already read that. Mere seconds ago, even. Wow, my memory is... It's bad. Imagine she was standing there like a 2D JPEG in a 3D area. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. They just replace her with like a cardboard cutout. The problem isn't what we see. The problem isn't in what we see. Correct, Darian? Right. It's what you hear. We are musicians, after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the Wii pianist to set off that igniter? That right? Yes. Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Oh, so he's saying because the piano wasn't interrupted, then it wouldn't have done that. Well, let's take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? Your memory's like the judges, sometimes although less dementia coded. Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, it's similar. What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it? Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You've got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the Diva. The mirror? But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out. If they couldn't even press a switch. Piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed the switch. Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice, if Machito didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here are some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant, Machito the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that! It has to be him! He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. Urgh. What do I do? What do I do? Heck, there has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd? Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. It happened seconds ago. There's something odd about the performance there. Yeah. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this? Can you prove Machi Tobaye pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Machi Tobaye pressed that switch? God damn it, stick drift. Alright, I can prove it. I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then, as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Airforehead, you're sure about this? Ha! Accept it! There's no evidence, man. Hmm. Hmm. Doesn't sound off to me. I want to say this. basis for my claim is music, Your Honor. Music? What about music? Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame. I hear a piano being played. You need a new controller, a new PC, new everything. You need some new stuff unless you feel like giving your ship's thesis treatment. Yeah, I need to fix my brain at some point, but it might be beyond the, like, thing of repair. Point of repair, that's it. Damn, didn't even know the point of repair. Alright, anyway. But doesn't it sound kinda simple? Simple? Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand? One hand? You only needed one hand to press that switch. You could play the piano with the other. Ah! So what, you're some kind of piano savant? Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Ark. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait! I know! Hey, Trucy! Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he... Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. Oh, Phoenix. So sorry, so sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you going to prove whether he played it with one hand or 2? You can't. I admit it will be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with one hand. How do you know that? The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No way. Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's see what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand, right before the guitar burst into flame. Machi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire. And one section of the song proves it. I think it's the second section. That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? I fucked up. I'm gonna have to speed through a lot of this again. It's a beautiful song and the lyrics are outstanding. God damn it, it was the third section, wasn't it? Wait, so what was the odd thing that Gavin heard? Switch was pressed in the first half of the second verse, right? Yep, third. I just need to find a place to compare to that. Your Honor, if you'll give me one more chance, I think I can find it. I suppose we don't have a choice. Very well. Maybe the defendant was playing with one hand when the switch was pressed. Show us the part that proves it. Yep. That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. As an artist, beautiful song, lyrics are outstanding. God damn it, what? First half of the second verse. Yeah, that's what that is. Alright. Literally, it's gotta be one of these. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Air Forehead. Realized what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the "but a fleeting melody" phrase. I feel like this would be a lot easier if the song had actual words, so I could tell what part it was. Or if it was like synced up to the video. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing? You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section? The guitar bursts into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to the "Oh, that night in your embrace." I'm tempted to start learning how to count in French because I'm struggling to count past 6 as a form of stim. That's interesting. Un, deux, trois, cinq. No, cinq is 5, I think. Or, wait, maybe? I don't know. I don't know French. Play verse 2 again. Oh my god. They feel the same, true. But they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple. But the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use 2 hands to play that for sure. What does that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. The 2 verses at different arrangements happens all the time. Dude, give in. We've got you. Number 6 and 7 have ruined me. I can't count to 10 without dying inside. Oh, yeah. Not this time, Darian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would start. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh! That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself. Now ask yourselves why Machi changed how he played. And there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Yark! Order! 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 I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. Though personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. Huh. What? No comeback? Can't believe it! I finally did it! I shut him up! Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Huh. God damn it! Shut up! Good show, Sleeves! Nah, great show! It's not over. I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, Air Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes. Don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts all check out. But even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. God damn it, he's right. Not that I need decisive evidence necessarily, because we got a lot of evidence that lines up. Yeah, but the facts! Anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But 1,000 facts might point towards the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. How much fucking evidence do you need exactly? Oh, I think if he did, we already would have seen it a long ways back. Law here matters as much as your memory at this point, yeah. But at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the current court system. Good luck. Impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. We should summon a ghost. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. We have to kick him in the dick, Trucy. I think he just means a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now, or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. That bastard called me deadweight! I missed what he said. Oh, well, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes. Good guitars are kept dry, is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, it'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What, and this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry. And I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Air forehead? You are accusing this man, Darian Crescend, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latouche and the smuggling of a Borginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial has already run on for far too long, I agree. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud, is the moment this cross-examination ends. Which is why I will save now. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darian Crescend. Okay. This is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darian Crescend's plan is... Do I have evidence? Maybe we call Emma? Or Phoenix? Probably not Phoenix, but... Maybe Valent Grammary would know? He's been pretty off hands the whole case. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh? So what is? It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I need to prove my case was something else. You mean a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Darian Crescen's guilt? Maybe? Already saved. This person is your igniter? Ha! Exactly what are they gonna testify about? Go for it! Call him to the stand! He's not scared at all, is he? Wrong person. Well. Load! Okay, in that case, witness, and, he seems nervous when I say witness, so it's probably a witness, but, maybe Machi? Because if he is his accomplice, then that would show a lot. Unless I can call Latus to the stand somehow. Okay, yeah. One person who can do his, show his guilt, whatever, is the defendant, Machi Tobae. Your client? Again? Machi Tobae was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darian Crescen could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case. How so? It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latus was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Borginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would, no doubt, also find inside the burnt-out guitar. Aha! Very scientific of you! Thus, if Machi Tobae acknowledges his agreement with Darian Crescend concerning the attempted smuggling of a Borginian cocoon, the case is solved. Darian's laughing again. He keeps doing that, yep. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? Little Key Tickler won't acknowledge anything, especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What's this all about? Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Borginian law. Ah! Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking... But you're wrong, Detective Crescend. What? It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. Huh? How? Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here... I was right about that, exactly. Then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. Ah! The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. Good job calling that, by the way, yeah. I'm sure that news has already reached Borginia. And they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today. Including the part about the Borginian cocoon. Yeah, but... But if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Borginian police. It's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here. Not now. Yeah, but you can't do this! You can't accuse me! Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machi Tobaye. Ark! The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan. Machi Tobaye knows everything. There's only one way out of this, one way out of it for him. And that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling. Huh. Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. A hidden mansion, real nice. You want a house made of cookies? Or no, a house made of pianos? Come on. I think it's very funny for you to think that they oh, well, what the fuck? They try to cook for and ruin their monopoly in the medical fields. Honestly, good point, Apollo. He's not in a hostile jurisdiction. That is true, yeah. Darian, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession? Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though. Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes. And you'll talk? You'll tell the court everything? I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know? I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew. From beginning, I knew. Machi. Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However, it's become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. What just happened? He turned into a torpedo, I guess. Anyway, Mr. Machi Tobaye. Yes? I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict. Oh, I took the glasses off. I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth. That's our job. That's our job. Very well. Can the judge just overhaul the system like that? I thought that was like Congress or something. I think it's more that like they know that like the guy's gonna get like a plea deal or just like admit to the crime so that accuses other people so they're okay with it. The court finds the defendant Machi Tobaye not guilty. Machi looks pretty without the glasses. Yeah, it's a good look. He has nice eyes. Court is adjourned. July 10th, 4:42 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. I wonder what'll happen with Tamachi. Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Borginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well that ends well. I know it's Phoenix. All's well that ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Lemire? My, is something wrong? I'm sorry, Machi was your partner on stage. Your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. Nice job, Machi, my man, exactly. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. Oh, that's what he needed the money for. Yeah. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Lemira lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I would take up painting. Painting? That's right! She's the landscape painter in sound, after all. I will paint the two of you. I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Lemira. I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet! Me too! And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on, until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial, the Guitar Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end. That's the end of case number 3. And we'll get to case number 4 next time I play the game. But next week is obviously Danganronpa 3. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Airhead, your favorite VTuber Android. My next stream is sometime this week. Keep an eye out for when it is, but in my schedule tomorrow. Have a lovely morning, day, or evening. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And goodbye for now.